Right, still coming to you from Millview Point in Cape Town. In the last movie we spoke about the Ograbis and our wonderful experience in Ograbis. In this movie we'll talk about the trip from Ograbis all the way down to Calvinia. You said what, 450 kilometers away? Took us a bit of a drive, and the drive started in Kakamas, just outside Ograbis. Took us through Kaimus. And what impressed me the most about these places is the gardens. The people keep their gardens so well. I mean, they lovely little basic homes, quaint little homes, but the roses, man, thousands and thousands of roses in these gardens of all color. That was quite impressive.
I guess these guys to have this kind, we called it the green thumb. You'd call it the same like in English.
Green fingers,
green fingers.
Was it green thumb? I can remember. Something like that.
But you also have to say we were so surprised because the area around the Orange River is actually a wine growing area. There are lots of vineyards, and there are even more plantations for grapes that are actually going into being raisins.
Yeah, I think it's mainly raisins.
Raisin country.
I mean, even the vineyards which was advertised as wineries. I mean, we went there, but we really couldn't find much. So
yeah.
I don't know if they're vineyard. There's a lot of grape growing and a lot of raisins.
But they have also wines.
They say so. We haven't found it.
we couldn't find it, but we saw some areas selling some, but honestly we haven't tasted it. But it's like, you see, the whole area is used as farmland, and so people are really into it. So even if in this kind of townships, African areas, I don't know how to call it.
Towns. It's just
towns. Like wherever you are in the little gardens or the bigger houses, everybody is growing like roses or grapes, everything, and it's so flowery and so different to many other areas we've seen.
It's like the Orange River creates these oases along the way.
That's
I think they're definitely maximizing the Orange River, so that's a lifeblood over there, because other than that there's not much else there.
Yeah, so we went actually back to read the R27 that took us straight south direction to Calvinia, and we did not expect much. It's just a straight road for hundreds of kilometers, and I mean, it was a long drive. I mean, there is no other word for it, but it was impressive in another way. We're always surprised about things. So it was clearly, just imagine, there's a Ferrari in the background, so don't worry about that. But just imagine there's a big, long road. It just goes straight, it cuts through the landscape, and you can see towards the horizon. It was definitely one of the longest infinity roads I've ever seen in my entire travel life. I've been traveling decades.
And relatively flat.
And
I mean, it was a little bit hilly, up and down, but relatively flat. But it was interesting. Anyway, we had Cedarburg. No, what do you call it? Not Cedarburg. What's that?
Quiver tree.
Quiver tree.
Quiver
tree is along the beginning section. There was even a quiver tree forest. Unfortunately, it was closed. We couldn't get in. But we could see the thing on the hill there. And then we got to like swampy areas. A whole couple of 100 kilometers just swampy areas. It's dry but swampy. It's very contrasty. It's very strange.
It is interesting, I have to say. And like the quiver trees, they call it the T1, the quiver tree route. So up to Ograbis and down to Calvinia. And up to Ograbis, we were a little bit looking for those ones. Unless you're in the national park, you find more of them. But this R27 is the route where it's filled with them. And as Pietro said, behind Kenhardt, which is one of the very, very little towns or settlements you come across, it's on the map as a quiver tree forest, and you can see it everywhere. It's closed. We don't know why. Maybe it's due to no tourists, COVID reasons, whatever. But it would be awesome if you can just drive through it. That would be So we saw it from the road. Was impressive anyway.
And the other thing that struck us was there was a lot of it almost appeared to be man-made hills, but they're not. Black rocks, big boulders, black. It's almost like each one has been polished. And they would come in waves. You see hundreds and thousands of them, and then it's like flat. And then all of a sudden, hundreds of thousands like hills. Like it's almost like big ant hills kind of thing. Very, very weird, very strange.
Like broken pyramids
Yeah,
and in
freaking
black.
weird. Very weird.
And the soil is so brown and copperish in terms of color. And
That's towards Calvinia now, when the mountains started appearing.
And then, but even with these black rocks in between, and then the place, as I said, it's just like it's so dry. It's a desert, and all of a sudden, you say it's not a Fata Morgana. I mean, it's like there's really water next to the street, and you have a look, and it's swampy. So there are flays, and then all of a sudden it's dry again. So it's so controversial. This drive, it was contrast everywhere. It was nice, and then it hit us. Before we went to, I mean, there is the road that leads into Calvinia. So when the R27 ends, you actually hit the so-called Karoo Highland Road. And this is where, we felt transferred back to the Karoo and these kind of Gondwana mountains, crazily shaped, in the middle of nowhere. It just stood out of the landscape. And
definitely a mountainous area started up there. And we popped in at what was that park in Calvinia? What was it called? The national park?
There was the Akkaren Dam Nature Reserve.
Popped in there, had a look there, and we got really close to some beautiful areas there. And then we overnighted at the Blue Nachi, no?
The Blue Nachi,
The Blue Nachi. We had dinner at the Blue Nachi. That was really amazing. Thick lamb cutlets I had, and I really enjoyed it. That was really good. And the wine was good. What wine did we have? I can't remember. I know we had it before. Was it the Rakes?
I have no idea.
Can't remember.
It was a Pinotage.
Yeah, I don't think it was Rakes.
So
Rakes, whatever. So that was a small little room, but served the purpose. And we skipped breakfast the next day.
But it was so local anyway. So it was really, you're in the middle of nowhere, and this is the kind of local guest house you would experience there. You have to go there. It's very quaint, and the people are so friendly and in a way laid back, but also far away from everything. So not into modern hustle and bustle. So it's good. It's very cool.
Yeah, so that was a good experience in Calvinia, and we'll tell you about the next day, which is the drive from Calvinia to Tulbagh. That was probably our day of the most amazing contrast we have ever experienced in the entire trip, all in one day. Well, that's one that'll be good to do again. But we'll talk about that in the next movie. In the next video.
Okay, we do.
Yeah.
See you there.
Until then, cheers.